Today might just be the most excited I've been for a Park to Prem episode in quite a hot minute. It's the start of Season 9, Andy White is back with the assistant captain armband, and I just feel happy. Let's run the intro and get into things. Yes, folks, how is it going? And a warm welcome back. It's episode number 65 of Park to Prem with Wanderers FC, and we are in the Champions League this year, my friends. But to kick off the year, two games that I'd like to think we can win. Brighton at home, Chelsea away. Now, of course, last episode, we had a rather shorter transfer special, if I might say so, by my own kind of standard. But to be honest, we got lots of the dealing I thought we needed to get done early. And in spite of the fact I did manage to get a few more players out of the club, there was really minimal investment. There are two new faces in the squad. We should probably talk about them. The first is Christopher Hernandez, who, I'm going to be honest, his ethnicity in game here is Asian. I think the skin tone's going to match in the match engine. Christopher Hernandez, of course, a well-known Asian last name. Look, I'm not going to question it. He's a bloody good footballer, super consistent, loves important matches. We signed him for 3.4 million. Did I buy him partially because of the asking price? Yeah, I did. He reminds me of Anderson, who you might remember we signed in January from Manchester United for a minimal fee. If I'm being honest, I think Hernandez is a slightly better player. Anderson I was looking to sell, but there was minimal interest. That said, Hull, who have just been promoted to the Premier League, wanted him on loan, so just kind of made sense to loan him out. Now, the other signing I made, another Manchester United youngster, of course. We brought in Benito Lloyd-Weston last episode, the England international. Manchester United had another young England international that they were willing to part with for what I perceive to be quite a good deal. Welcome, Tom McGarry. Look at this guy, 22 years old, 8 caps for England, £22.5 million paid. Now, I'll be honest, he is really coming in to be that defensive mid option that I was trying to find at the end of last episode. We looked at Ampadu, he went to AC Milan. I went back in and studied the market. This guy was running into the last year of his contract, but camped for England, currently in the national team, could play defensive mid, give that a big tick. He is also capable of playing centre-back, and he's got a very strong left foot. Now, if I'm being honest, his jumping, reach and heading aren't exactly exemplary, and he probably won't play at centre-back that much for us. But for the money we've paid, I think he's a great little signing. And in fact, if we now just look at the England national team, 5 of the current England squad are Wanderers players, which is quite nice, if I might say so myself. In terms of departures that happened, Matthew Miller has now officially gone to Hull, sold for 8.5 million. We will chalk this one down as an expensive mistake, although I will be keeping a close eye on his career. And Alozzi also left the club, £1.4 million for him. I definitely should have been getting more. His value has already shot up, which annoys me immensely. The good news, we are due 50% of any future transfer profit. Maybe that can help me recoup some of the losses of the £6 million that I'm down, having signed him for 7.5 million a few years ago. Now, in terms of the finances at the club, the transfer window is still open for a month. We have some transfer budget surplus. There's some wage budget to spend as well, but to be honest, pretty happy with the overall balance of the team now. When it comes to the squad, for I think the 4th season in a row, the goalkeepers are the exact same. Caleb Anson leading the line in goal. This guy, I don't think we're ever going to replace, to be honest. I think he has really firmly nailed himself down as one of the heroes of this save game. Now, of course, in terms of centre-back options, we made the big addition of Ashley Phillips last time out. A very athletic centre-back with some well-rounded mentals, 27 years old, one who I feel like is going to be a good long-term option, great in the air. Excited to see how he fares for us. But alongside McGarry, who we've talked about before, it's very familiar faces when it comes to our defence. Henderson and Dorrington, the two new additions who joined us last year and left their mark, are going to be starting. Of course, Henderson is moving over to the left-hand side of the centre-back position this year. At left-back, there is going to be more competition this year. To start things, I am going to stick with Gavin Wallace, and I'll be honest, it is purely based on my own favourites and bias. But of course, Lloyd-Weston, who we did sign, I think is a very competent player. When you look at them kind of head-to-head, yeah, Benito definitely a more well-rounded player. In terms of as a wing-back on attack, not support, let's make sure we get this right. I do actually feel like the difference between the two players is a little finer, but you know what? I like Wallace, so Wallace is going to play at least to start the year. In the right-back area, Ajaria is going to be our regular starter. Elsewhere, though, we've got an understudy, I suppose, in Niall Townsend. To be honest, last year he picked up the right wing-back position pretty quickly, although it did impact his overall current ability. Of course, the more positions a player plays, the more it eats into the attributes that they have. Maybe a little bit of a downside there. Besides these two, in an absolute emergency, Nahum here will be the man we turn to at right wing-back. We've been training him to play this position. He basically can play just a load of spots in the team. He's like the John O'Shea of Wanderers, is this man. man. You might remember at the tail end of last episode, I mentioned the fact I was a little bit worried about our defensive mid-depth. Mick Garry coming to the team definitely makes that easier. Hatswell was just a standout player, not just in terms of performances, but also in terms of development last year. He will hold down his spot alongside Carl Flood in the heart of our midfield. Gavin Gallagher, I think, is just a good creative option to have for that defensive mid position on off the bench. And Joe McHugh, very keen, it seems, to get into the England national team setup. He keeps asking me to up his squad status because he wants to force himself into the national team fray. Like that kind of ambition from him. Going to try and give him a few more starts, I think, this year. Made 25 appearances in the league last year. Only 3 were as a starter. As for strikers, well, of course, Will Lancashire left the building to go to Saudi Arabia, but Andy White has returned. This man is an absolute monster. Yeah, he looks absolutely superb, doesn't he? As good as the day we let him go. Yeah, the 23-year-old, very keen to see what he can do. Goal-scoring-wise to Leicester, he had a bit of an off year. So the £63 million fee feels steep. I'm pretty confident we're going to be able to get him firing. Behind him, of course, lots of familiar faces. Meredith got double-figure goals last year. Marcus Sheldon won PFA Young Player and Player of the Year last year. He was one of the best creative strikers, and in fact, just one of the best creative players, full stop, across the whole of the Premier League. Had the best average rating. Wonder how Andy White might benefit that. Is it going to drag up his average rating because he's got a better finisher next to him? Is it going to drag him down because, well, Andy White's just stealing all the goal-scoring chances? I'm not sure. Besides them, though, we have, of course, got the likes of Bernard Brennan, Rashid Mohammed, and also Christopher Hernandez, who I feel like will get some game time this year as backups. Yeah, I really like the depth that we have. Right now, our first team squad sits at 25 players. Worth noting that a lot of our players now are no longer teenagers, so we've lost some of those free spots we got in the squad registration rules, where in the Premier League, if players are under 20, you don't have to register them. Right now, Hatswell and McHugh do technically qualify as not needing to be registered. Once they need to be registered as soon as next year, I would actually be up against the squad size limit. So yeah, what we have here is what we're going to really have, I think, for the whole year. Just as a refresher, board expectations for this year: top half finish, be competitive in cup competitions, reach the Champions League proper. As far as I'm aware, we do go straight into the Champions League proper. I've not been informed we're in any of the qualifying rounds, so I assume we just go into the big group stage straight away. But you know what? For the here and now, we are going to focus on the league. Our season preview actually has us down here in 13th. Right at the beginning of pre-season, our media prediction was 9th. I'd like to think we can challenge for European football again this year. I think Andy White is going to be a big component in that. I wish I could sit here and pretend that due to the fact we finished 3 points away from the Premier League title, that we're somehow going to be in the fight for it this year. I don't think that's out of the realms of possibility. As we showed last year, we're not a million miles away. Last year was a bit of a freak season, though, with so many teams dropping points against one another. Anyway, with that all said and done, time to start the season. Brighton to open things up. The Chelsea game after this one, definitely the trickier of the 2 games today. So a result here is the name of the game. In terms of injury news, there's no one injured. This is literally what I think our best 11 is to start the new year. Andy White in the team, Phillips in the team as well. I'm hoping Andy scores immediately. I think the majority of people are on the Andy White hype train, and I'm fully on board with that too. I know how much he means to some of you guys out there. I feel like there's a silent minority of haters willing him not to shine here so that they can criticise the fact I made a sentimental signing. I see you 2 people out there thinking like that. Okay, Brighton playing in red. We are playing in our black kit. Andy White wearing the number 9, by the way. We've given him back his old shirt number. Brings a tear to my eye to see him back in this team. Hopefully, we're going to be able to get a win and christen his comeback with a really good performance. Ball is launched forward here. Antonio Carlos takes it down. Moscardo with the ball to Van Heck. Fabian now gives it to João Pedro. Brighton right now forcing us to chase shadows. They're knocking the ball around with serious confidence. João Pedro inside. Gives it back to Antonio Carlos. Christiansen at left back. Bringing it forward down the line. I do not like this. Their players got inside. He shoots. It's blocked off the line. It's headed away. And it very nearly still ended up in the back of the net. 10 minutes down in this game. We've not exactly got off to the flashy start to the year. We'll try and encourage the players. Get some green, happy, smiley faces going. Felt really well prepared for this start to the year. Not just in terms of the players being fit, but also just in terms of the transfers we've made. Brighton last year did get a top half finish, if I'm not mistaken. So they're not pushovers. For half an hour in, nothing's really happening until now. Gavin Wallace is going to be fighting for his spot this year, so we need some magic from him on occasion. He's going to kick off this attack as Henderson, the centre-back, cuts inside, shoots and hits the post. I don't know why Henderson, the left centre-back, has decided to do that. I kind of love he's tried it. 5 minutes left of this first half. Another throw-in going to start on this near side. If you're wondering, why is Wallace wearing number 7 as a left wing-back? It's his favourite number. who am I to judge him? Sheldon cuts inside, shoots, and Spike Britt saves it. I've just noticed they've got Spike Brits in goal. I'm realising Spike Brits, can you remember? We looked to sign him as a goalkeeper once upon a time. He was like a backup forever at Brighton. They're now giving him a chance in the spotlight. Of course, he's coming back to haunt me here with an early save. I say early. Look, it's nearly half-time. And Brighton now find themselves on the attack. It's been a cagey half for all involved. Van Heck now has the ball at centre-back. He's going to play it into the midfield. Fabian... Well, I was going to say he gets dispossessed. Henderson put in a tackle, which was a bit of a heart-in-mouth moment because he didn't really get near the ball and he's on a booking. But Ashley Phillips is going to get it forward. And now it's Andy White taking it down. The number 9 through the middle. And I'm not sure what that shot was. Brighton yet to have a shot on target in this game. As that second half of the first half went on, we definitely pressed home an advantage. Unable to score, though. I've got to get shouty. Not going to change anything just yet. I feel like if we keep playing as we've been playing, we should be okay here. Of course, if we don't score or do anything within the first 15 minutes here, maybe then we do start to panic. Maybe then we start to fear time getting away from us. But, well, you know what? We're still on the attack. We're pressing home an advantage, and it's Flood. Edge of the box. That shot blazes over. Right, you know what? Lloyd Weston on Newcombe. Ajari has been quiet in this game as well. Townsend on Newcombe. Arian B on for Henderson as well. I feel like this might be our first year where we have some serious depth at centre-back, which is quite exciting. Andy White has not played well, but I'm just going to show stubborn faith in him. Instead, I'm going to take off Meredith and bring in Rashid Mohammed as that pressing forward. Quite a few changes made in quick succession here. Going to shout some encouragement at the players as well. Trying to get them fired up for this last 25 minutes. We've been the better team in this game. The scoreline isn't reflecting it yet. Brighton with a throw-in on the near side. Christiansen going to look to get it inside. This is dangerous. This is scary. Edge of the box. Sheldon is there to mop up the pieces. He picks out Rashid Mohammed. What a pass that was. Andy White's going to latch onto the loose ball. Rashid Mohammed's played in behind. The number 10 on off the bench. Scores. That's the kind of impact we need from him. Andy White with an assist. Okay, now I feel better. As this game was going on, the voice of doubt was creeping into my head. Should I be keeping Andy White on the pitch? He's not performed well. I'll tell you what, his average rating for this game is about to shoot up because of an assist, because that's how Football Manager stuff works. I feel like the faith we've kept in him has been repaid there. Saying all of that, there is still 15 minutes left in this game, and it'd be wrong to kind of dismiss Brighton because they have created chances on occasion, and while Bradley's going to be trying to make something happen here, they're on the far side. We've got to defend at the back. Fabian inside, edge of the box. Moretti shoots, hits the woodwork. Paredes taps it in. And is it offside or isn't it? The linesman didn't flag. I feel like this is going to count. The shot from range was a crazy one. They hit the post. Brighton think they've scored, and I hate to say it, they absolutely have. Oh, I mean, what do you say about this? Is it just misfortune here? The Moretti shot hits the post. It could fall anywhere. It falls straight to Paredes. That is pain. Right, Townsend, mate, I'm playing you forward on attack. Annoyingly, Lloyd Weston can't play as an attacking midfielder, so he's going to stay back. We're going asymmetric. You know things are getting desperate. Mick Hugh, on you come in the middle, mate. I'm going to play him as a centre mid on attack. I used to love that role last year in Football Manager. We're bringing it back here. Is it crazy to go all-out attack against Brighton in the first game of the year? Maybe. But I really would like a goal. And now they've got a set piece. I don't like it. Football Manager, why are you doing this to me? Fabian back post. Van Heck headers it. It's cleared away. Rashid Mohammed has already scored one. Could we launch a counter here? He is pacey. Should have some fresh legs too. Gives it back to Ashley Phillips. Making his debut at centre-back. Dorrington now with the ball. Well, we're stabilising the play here. Brighton, you can see, they've got like 6 players pressing here. If we beat the initial press and get in behind, they are going to be in a world of hurt. And that kind of pass there might just open them up. Lloyd Weston at left wing-back. Options the middle. Mohammed is there. Rashid Mohammed scores. And I think that goal is going to count. It is 2-1. I feel like Rashid Mohammed never gets the love he deserves in the YouTube comments. I don't hear from the Rashid Mohammed fans. If you're one of those people, please stand up. Take notice. Friendship ended with Meredith. Rashid is my best friend now. 2 goals for him today. And I need to undo this. Okay, we've reverted back to our more defensive shape. Don't do it to me, Football Manager. Don't do... It's a corner. It's always corners. I think Moretti technically got an assist for the first goal as well, didn't he? He's going to get another one here. Who was that who jumped there? Ashley Phillips. I spent like 50 million on him. He doesn't know how to jump, apparently. I'll tell you what, it's like we're doing the hokey cokey here. I've just got to redo all the changes I just undid. Okay, back on the attack we go, and now there could be time for more. What a dramatic game to open the year this has ended up being. Moretti plays in João Pedro. He squares it. What is going on here? Okay, he was offside. I don't know why the game's shown me that. It just wanted to keep me on edge. 6 minutes of added time here. There's only 3 minutes of them left. Andy White is over a corner. Could he be the hero? Ball's whipped in. Dorrington heads it over, and that there might have been the chance. It wasn't exactly a free header. It was a towering header. I mean, we've created so much in this game. Undone by a rebound in a corner. And that bloody hurts. I will say, Benito Lloyd-Weston got a very good rating on off the bench. If I was Gavin Wallace, I'd be nervous. That's a frustrating game. I think we were the better team. It doesn't really matter, does it? To make matters worse, Chelsea, who we play in our opening game today, also managed to get a win. So yeah, that's going to give them a little bit of confidence for us taking them on in a week's time. By the way, when it comes to Brighton, their media prediction is 11th. So they are a mid-table team alongside us. We've not lost to them there. It kind of feels like a loss, doesn't it, when you bottle the lead twice. Well, the wait for Andy White's first goal at the club is going to go on. Maybe it'll end in this next one. Chelsea in a week. Don't go anywhere. No transfers in, no transfers out. Let's get into this second game of the year. In terms of teams having slow starts, Man City didn't win their first game of the year either. So you know what? I'm not going to worry about things. If we fail to win here, though, 3 points failed to be scored from our first two isn't going to look good. Team news-wise, we're keeping things simple. We're going to play the free striker system, same personnel as last game. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. You know what? No, you know what? I've changed my mind. Lloyd-Weston is going to come in and start at left wing back. I'm sorry to the Wallace fans. This man impressed me on off the bench. Let's see if he can impress me as a starter today. Okay, in terms of Chelsea's team for this game, Foden, Rodrigo, Jackson, Caicedo, Fernandes, Lavia. That's actually mad how many of the players they'd normally start with are just in this team so far into the future. I guess they can't get rid of all the players on like 7-year deals, can they? Yeah, Chelsea, like I said, they won their first game. It was only 1-0. We need a win. We really need a win. Okay, Dorrington taking a free kick shot to Hatswell. I feel like if nothing else last game, we saw we're capable of scoring. Of course, there's a new man in the defence. Maybe a little bit of gelling time is needed. Ajaria in, goes across the box, falls to Flood, and his shot hits the crossbar. What a chance 7 minutes in. Chelsea looking to play the ball out from the back. Caicedo dispossessed. Nicky Meredith picks up the loose ball here, dropping deep to give it to Phillips. Options left, options right. Goes inside to Dorrington. Looking good here, though. We're knocking the ball around with a swagger and confidence. Lloyd-Weston down the line, squares it. Andy White scores. He is back. The two new signings linking up to give us the lead. Friendship ended with Will Lancashire. Andy White is my best friend again now. I mean, yeah, Lloyd-Weston putting the ball in here. Gavin Wallace is crying on the bench. Lovely goal, bit of a deflection, don't care, it's in the back of the net. Chelsea, I'm sure, are not going to take this kind of scoreline lying down. I expect them to attack here, and they're going to do that here through Rodrigo, who gives it to Caicedo, and he smashes it into the top corner. Positives we've seen today, we are capable of scoring goals. Negatives we're seeing today, we're capable of conceding goals. Anson just couldn't get enough behind that. Okay, it's 1-1. You know what? There's still a lot of football left to be played here. And while we are going to have the ball via Flood. Edge of the box, gives it to Alfie Dorrington. Options to his left. Flood going to give it wide to Lloyd-Weston. The number 6 plays it inside. Sheldon can't get there. Ball is cleared away, but Henderson's going to mop up the pieces there. And we're going to try and build from the back once more. Hatswell with the ball. Lays it to Lloyd-Weston. Has 1 assist already. He's looked lively in this game. Back to Flood. Bringing it forward. Back to Lloyd-Weston. Sheldon. Back to Lloyd-Weston. Sheldon. The build-up plays nice. Is there end product? Is there ever? Marcus Sheldon off the mark for the year. It's 2-1. Only 15 minutes played. Lloyd-Weston and Sheldon battling along the line. Sheldon picks it up. He cuts inside and he takes it at the near post. Probably should have passed it. Didn't pass it. Didn't matter. He scored. Gonna praise the players here. Try and get the confidence flowing. We're looking good in this game, if I might say so myself. Ajaria on the far side now. The right back looking to float it in. Back post. 2 players are marked. Sheldon is there. He grabs a second and it is 3-1. Last year, Chelsea had the best defensive record in the league. Their defence definitely doesn't look quite as impenetrable today, does it? Sheldon, no-look header. And now he's on for a hat-trick. 41 minutes played. After a flurry of goals, there were so many inside a 15-minute period. Things have cooled off here, although maybe not before half-time, because we're on the offensive again in an aggressive area. On this occasion, Phil Foden is going to mop up the pieces. Nicholas Jackson attempts to launch some kind of reprieve for the Chelsea defence, but we've won it back nicely, and now we're going to get back to what we do best. Moving the ball through the lines, through the channels. On this occasion, ball a little wayward, and now inviting Rodrigo forward. Henderson, the left centre-back, though, in a good position, I feel like, to deal with this, although that space behind him is open. Casado has scored again. It's 3-2. What is happening today? I feel like here I felt quite composed as Henderson was in this space, marking Rodrigo, but this ball in behind just found a channel of space where the left centre-back had kind of vacated his normal position, and from there, Chelsea punished us quickly. Enzo Fernandez played it across. It's 3-2 at half-time. I mean, I have to tell the players I'm not happy, don't I? Few of the players are crying. I'll talk to them and tell them I've got faith. Okay, well, they're now just all confused. It'll be fine. Ajaria on a booking is a little concerning here. Niall Townsend I could definitely bring on at right wing-back if I wanted to, but I don't feel like I want to in this game here. Flood is having a pretty poor game, if I might say so myself. Gavin Gallagher on Newcombe. Meredith is poor. I did and ah about starting Rashid Mohammed after his heroics last game. You know what? He can come on at half-time here. Okay, early on in this half, Gallagher, fresh off the bench, is going to hopefully provide some of those passes from deep that Flood was struggling with. Sheldon drops in as the complete forward. Mohammed wide. Ajaria. Players in the middle to pick out. One of them is Rashid Mohammed. And the keeper makes an insane save. I mean, Chelsea, they've scored 2 goals from 3 shots on target. I feel like it's safe to say their goals have come against the run of play. I'm going to try praising the players here. Just want to keep morale up and keep the momentum going. We are doing A-okay. I was about to make some changes and then a highlight began. I guess Football Manager wants me to suffer and watch whatever this is we're going to watch before I make a change. Dorrington gives away the ball, but nicely won back by Ajaria. Phillips now with the ball for us is going to give it all the way back to Caleb Anson, our goalkeeper from the League One days. Now our goalkeeper as we go into our first Champions League season. That is a fun sentence to be able to utter. That is what Park to Prem is all about. The ball's launched forward here. Are we going to lose the ball? No, Hatswell wins it back nicely, that second ball. Rashid Mohammed inside to Ajaria, the right wing back now bringing it forward. 4 players in the middle to aim for. Rashid is one of them. And that shot was not far wide. I'll tell you what, since we brought on Rashid, chances are falling his way. I'm going to make some changes here and get in, I think, some fresh legs where we can. In terms of the defence, Dorrington has really struggled in this game. I'm going to play Arian B in the middle. And I think I'm also going to take off Phillips here. I'm going to bring it on Tom McGarry for his debut at left centre-back. Like I said last game as I brought on Arian B, I feel like our centre-back options on the bench are really good this year. In previous seasons, if centre-backs weren't having a good game, I didn't really have a player or players that I could bring on. That is different this time around. Okay, Chelsea free kick. Rodrigo whips it in. If we conceded another set piece after the one last game, I would be upset. Good news, headers off target. 10 minutes left to survive. And I say to survive because I do feel like we're holding on a little bit in this game. Match momentum has definitely swung. Rodrigo's going to whip the ball in here. And it's actually another set-piece goal. It's Reece James. It's 3-3. And I'm fuming. Chelsea had been building up some momentum, but to concede another set-piece, how can I not be upset? 2-2 in our last game, 3-3 in this game here. I mean, on the one hand, I kind of want to throw some players forward and try and make something happen. On the other hand, this isn't actually the worst result in the world, dare I say. But I'm going to make the same changes we made last game. Is there to be any late drama? Chelsea, 3 goals from 5 shots on target. They've not been good in this game. I don't want to sound like I'm being bitter sour grapes, but I am being bitter sour grapes. There's going to be one last highlight to end this game. 30 seconds, should I say that? No, 90 seconds left. I can do maths, me. And sadly, it's Chelsea on the attack. They're getting him by. Casado's on for a hat-trick, by the way. He shoots, Anton saves. Apparently that would have been one of the goals of the season. That feels like a gross exaggeration. There is, well, a minute left for something to materialise here. Anton's going to whip it forward. Casado going to get onto the loose ball. Rodrigo now in the wide area has been causing us issues. He is going to skip past Benito Weston. The ball's put in. It's headed away. I need to shout demand more here. There's a minute left. We are on the back foot. And I don't want to lose this game from here. Not here, not now. Paez whips it in. It's half cleared away. Scalvini goes down in a heap. Townsend makes a great tackle. That ball is overhit. And you know what, at this point, end the game, wave it off. I think I'm just going to have to settle for a point. It feels a bit harsh. We were a lot better in the first half. Has to be said, the momentum definitely swung in Chelsea's favour in the second. I mean, Casado scores too. And he's not a player who's known for scoring his goals, is he? We failed to win again, which is annoying. I suppose if we want to find a positive, we've scored plenty of goals. Just got to try and tighten things up at the back. Now, in terms of the plan for next episode, where apparently Andy Townsend ended a drought of 11 hours without a goal. I didn't even realise that. That dates back to when he was at Leicester. We'll give him some praise for that. But yes, in terms of the plan for next episode, I think there's one obvious thing to come back for. Champions League group stage action. That is what we're going to return for next time. I don't even know what our fixtures are going to be as part of the big daddy, massive group stage thing. We'll leave that for next episode. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'm going to hope that the struggles we've had today aren't a precursor for what we might face in the immediate future, because we do still have Arsenal, Manchester United and Newcastle in our next 5 games. Yeah, it's a tricky start to the year. But you know what? We're going to get distracted by the Champions League for your Wednesday viewing pleasure next time. Appreciate you hanging out with me today. I'll see you on the next one. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.